Welcome to the latest edition of Craig Houston Talks 2 podcast, and we're doing something a bit different today in this episode. We'll be joined by five budding young superstars, all who have started their career off at Sons of Struth and moved on to bigger and better things. Hopefully it'll give those outside our club an idea of what we do. It'll give the kids that are younger going through our club some inspiration and some ideas on how to make the most of their potential careers in football. So hope you all enjoy this podcast, and we'll crack on and introduce the lads. So guys, first of all, if you could just have a look at the camera, that one there, and introduce yourself, your name, age, and give us a wee bit of an idea of what your football looked like before you came to Sons of Struth, and then we'll talk about Sons of Struth thereafter. Okay, so do you want to start off, Callum?
Well, I'm Callum Frater, I'm a goalkeeper. Before I came to Sons of Struth, I was a right back, so it was a bit different then. I changed to a goalkeeper, and the old team didn't really give me much opportunity. So I came to Sons of Struth looking for a chance at goalkeeper, and that's where I found it, and went on to go to pro youth academies on trial, etc. So it's been good.
So before you became a goalkeeper, you had played a bit of rugby, hadn't you?
Yeah, I used to play rugby a long time ago, but I played rugby for most of my younger ages because my dad was always a rugby player. So I played rugby for a long time when I was younger, but then I moved to football because all my mates were getting into football. So that's when it kind of happened. I moved over to football and I became a right back because I was good at defending.
And when was this? What age were you at the time?
Oh, I don't know, about 7 or 8 maybe a bit older than that.
And then you wanted to become a goalkeeper, and when did that happen? What age were you then?
It was so about 12 or so, maybe just before that.
And you're still 15 now?
15 now, aye. So it's been about 4 years I've been a goalkeeper, so it's been quite a good time while I've been a goalkeeper, I'll tell you that.
And in that time, we had a little window of COVID.
Aye.
So you like everybody, you lost a bit of time there. So you've really only been a goalkeeper for 4 years.
Yeah.
And probably been active because of COVID and playing games for just over 3 of those years.
Yeah.
And how did you find the transition?
Well, it didn't help that my old club wouldn't give me much of an opportunity. But when I came to Sons of Struth, it certainly helped being given that opportunity. Yeah, it was good when I came to Sons of Struth and I got the chance to be in goals, and it was just different playing for a totally different position because goalkeeper's so much different to any position outfield. Outfielders can switch between positions, right backs can play right wings, centre mids can drop into the wingers if they need to, but you can't really do that for a goalkeeper because it's totally different. So it was a big transition between the two positions.
Okay, no problem. We'll talk about that a wee bit later, what happened when you came to Sons of Struth and how you transitioned into being a goalkeeper. So Cody, tell us a bit about your life. Tell me who you are and what you've done before you came up to Sons of Struth.
I'm Cody Martin. I'm a centre back. I'm 14, and before I came to Sons of Struth, I was a centre mid, and then I got put into centre back because someone left, and then ever since it's went uphill there. So.
And who were you playing for before you came to Sons of Struth, and what age were you when you joined Sons of Struth?
Milan, and I played with Milan, and I must have been about, I don't know, 13 or something. I think I was 12. I was somewhere around there, and then
you joined Sons of Struth about 13?
Yeah, so, yeah.
Okay, and last but not least, Seb, tell us a bit about you, what age you are, where you played before you came to Sons of Struth.
I'm Seb Fisher, and I've played for BSA before I joined Sons of Struth, and I'm 13.
And who's BSA?
BSA is a team in Hamilton, the Blantyre Soccer Academy.
And how long were you there?
I was there for about 4 or 5 years.
And how long, you always playing centre forward?
Yeah, always playing striker.
What BSA like? They got a good name and quite a well-known club.
Yeah, they were quite a good club, but I wanted a bigger and better challenge, to be fair. And some people were suggesting I should go to Sons of Struth, and apparently it was a really good club, and then I joined, and it was, right. Yeah.
So that'll probably lead us on to a sensible next question. Why Sons of Struth? Because it always baffles me that we're only 7, going on 8 years old, but we attract a lot of players, and as we go on, we seem to be attracting a lot of better players every year as time goes on. So if I can ask each of you, why Sons of Struth out of there? Loads of kids clubs there. None of you are local to where we train. You all travel a varying distance and must drive by at least 10, 20 clubs, and some of these maybe 40 or 50 clubs. So why did you end up at Sons of Struth? So go around the same order, Callum. What about yourself?
Well, for me, mainly it was just because of that opportunity. I don't want that to sound bad, like nothing else was dragging me, but it was mainly for that opportunity and goals, because I needed that. I needed game time and goals as quick as I could, and Sons of Struth could offer that to me. But I can understand why nowadays you're getting a lot of pull from young players joining you, because the amount of stuff that you do for the club, the Benfica trips, all that sort of stuff, it gets you out there and it makes a lot of news about the club, and everybody knows the name. So you've got a lot of young boys coming to you looking for that step to get into pro youth. But for me, it was mainly just to get that opportunity and goals that I needed at that time.
And did you have the opportunity to go elsewhere when for those that don't know, you could come up quite a distance for South Ayrshire just to train and play every week. Passing a lot of clubs to get to, but was there any opportunities to go elsewhere at that sort of time?
There could have been other opportunities, but they were kind of in Ayrshire, and the Ayrshire League isn't quite as good as the Glasgow League, you could say. So the Glasgow League gave you a bit more opportunity for kind of scouts and stuff to be there, because you had at places like Glasgow Green, big football place with many pitches, so there could be the opportunity of scouts being there watching a different team and then they just spot you. But down in Ayrshire, you're maybe on like one wee pitch that's out in the middle of nowhere, and you're not getting too much exposure out there to general football and people that could be at the places like Glasgow Green, etc.
And Cody, when you came to join Sons of Struth, what was the reason for joining us and coming? You're Lanarkshire based, and obviously again, Lanarkshire's a great place for grassroots football. There's loads of clubs. You were playing for a club, but your club in Coatbridge.
Yeah.
So you were playing for a local club, and again, must have passed loads. Did you have opportunities to go elsewhere, and why did you end up deciding to come to Sons of Struth?
No, and then obviously we found out about Sons of Struth, and my mum told me everything about it, and that made me think I want to go there, because obviously friends Benfica and stuff, and that's what made me think that's where I want to go. And
did you have opportunities to go elsewhere when you were deciding where to end up?
Yeah, I could have picked anywhere else, but I thought Sons of Struth, because that's where my best opportunities is, and if I want to be a footballer, then that's where I should go.
So, Seb, you were at BSA for quite a while, decent club. Why did you want to move, and how did you end up at Sons of Struth?
I wanted to move because somebody suggested that I would go there, and I knew that person quite well, and they were really good.
The coach, wasn't it?
Yeah, coach. Yeah, and yeah, he was a really good coach, and I could trust him, I thought. And yeah, it was the way forward, I thought, as well. So.
And did you have any opportunities to go to other clubs other than Sons of Struth? Did you have decisions to make, or was it just basically you were looking for a better club, this one was recommended? And I
was looking for a better club, to be honest, and I didn't really, I wasn't really getting many other folk wanting me or anything like that.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, so you've all had a wee bit of a career elsewhere, and for one reason or another decided look for change, look for another opportunity, and you've all ended up at Sons of Struth. Okay, so Callum, you came Sons of Struth, probably played 2 seasons, 2 and a bit.
Something like, it was 2019. It was November 2019 was my first training session. I remember that, so it'll be about 2 seasons or so. But one of them was COVID.
Yeah. But in that time, so you were there for a couple of years, but not 2 full years because of the pandemic. Tell us a bit about your time at Sons of Struth, the experiences you had, and how you found it.
Well, the first thing that happened when I came in, it was a bit of a shock to me, because the first game that I played, I went in and I got #1 jersey, which was a bit of a shock to me, because there was already 3 goalkeepers in the 2007s, if you remember at that point. But by the first couple of months, 2 of them had already left, so it was really just down to me getting a lot of game time, which is what I needed at the time. I needed as much game time as possible. And then we continued to bring in more boys, and we were getting a bit better and better and better. And then the stuff with Benfica happened when I was away with Curva and all of that, and that's when it really started with pro youth clubs starting to look at me. That's when I got first trial and stuff. So,
okay, now obviously I know about your Benfica trip. For those that don't, do you want to explain? You went twice as an individual and once with the team. Is that right?
Yeah, I did the once with the team, which was the one day thing. It was it was during the one day, and I went twice for the 2 week thing. The first time was totally on my own. But the second time I had 2 of the teammates with me. But yeah, so I went for 2 weeks and we stayed in a hotel and that, and we trained like a professional player. So it was like 2 training sessions a day, a training session and a gym session the next day, that sort of stuff. And we did that for 2 weeks, and we played loads of different like pro youth teams over there. So the second time we played Benfica. I can't remember if we did the first time, but we did play Benfica the second time. We actually ended up beating them. But I can't remember if the first time we played them or not, but we played pro youth clubs and stuff over there, and it was a good experience.
And that trip was on what they call Curva's International squad, and you were playing with kids from all around the world, weren't you? I mean, where were some of your teammates from?
Well, my 2 roommates, and the first time, one was from Latvia, I think, and the other one was from America. But we had ones from America, all over Europe. There was Portuguese boys. There was one that lived in Milan, but he was Portuguese. So there was one from Italy, US, Scotland, all different places around the world.
And what was that like? The first time you went out, you went out yourself. The second time you went out with 2 of your teammates from the Sons of Struth 07s. So you would have been, what, 14 at the time?
Yeah, that would have been about right. I was a bit nervous, to be honest. Especially going out there on my own, but then I discovered that I actually did know one of the boys that were going out because I knew him from my old club, because he used to play for our rival club, so I did know him because we actually used to be kind of pally. But I was quite nervous going out there on my own, not knowing anyone, but it went well.
And again, from memory, and you need to excuse my ignorance because I deal with about 200 kids a year. The first trip, you would have been one of the youngest on that.
Yeah,
I think
I was the youngest on the trip.
Because from memory, I got a call for Curva to say, look, we know that they asked me for a 06 goalkeeper, and we didn't have an 06.
Yeah.
And we spoke about putting you forward, and that's how that happened. So you would have been in a foreign country, surrounded by strangers, probably the youngest out of a group of about, what, 20 kids?
Something like that, yeah.
And how did that feel?
At first, it was a bit overwhelming, to be honest, having to kind of look after yourself totally, because you had to be there on time, and if you weren't on time, then obviously they weren't happy, and you had to do like your press ups or your burpees as punishment sort of stuff. But you just had to make sure that you kept your time and you got places where you needed to be on time. But it was a bit nerve wracking having to look after yourself properly for the first time.
Yeah, and you would have been surrounded with some kids, what, 16 years of age, some of them maybe 17?
Yeah, there was one boy who was 18. He was from Scotland as well. I've actually became quite good friends with him. He was 18 when he first went. He went again when he was 18 on the second time as well, because he was meant to go during COVID, but obviously it got cancelled because of COVID, so he got offered the chance to go even though he was 18. So
yeah, just to make up to him. Now, Cody, Seb, you done the Benfica one-day trip with the club, didn't you?
Yeah.
And were you in by that time?
No,
That was before your time. So we'll come back to you on this in a minute, Seb, but the same thing. But the one-day trip that we done, Callum, what was that like?
That was good. It was quite rushed. Up early in the morning and back late at night, but it was good for the day. I think it really showed a lot of the boys what it would be like if they did go to pro youth, which was a good thing, and it kind of gave them an insight into what it would be like playing as a pro footballer, because obviously we had 2 training sessions in that one day, and it was a lot of travelling and all that sort of stuff, so it was a good experience for them.
Yeah, there are not many kids at your ages that went and chartered planes just for their own club and away taking it to foreign land. Did that make you feel a wee bit special, just that whole thing, getting onto a plane and our headrests on it and our banners at the gates and stuff? Did that work? Because that was certainly the idea, was to make you feel special, and maybe say professional players. There's probably 99% of professional players never been on a chartered flight by a club, never mind kids. But did that have an impact on you?
It kind of made it feel like a proper special occasion sort of thing. But it was just it was all professional, and it looked really good to any outsiders looking at it. It looked really good with the banners, the Sons of Struth and all that sort of stuff. It looked like a proper professional club, and it was a good experience.
Well, the thinking behind it, what had happened, COVID had come in on the March 2020, and we had 200 people booked to go to a tournament in England to take the younger teams away. That was all paid for, and obviously couldn't happen. And then we were looking to do something that summer with the older kids. So then, as time went on, we thought for a couple of years now with no trips, so let's do something special. So that was the thinking behind that. And Seb, did you join the club no long before that? You hadn't been there that long?
No, I was at.
I know you were at the trip, but you hadn't joined that long before it, did you?
Yeah.
And how did that feel, turning up at this new club and they said, we're hiring a plane and we're taking 200 people to
Amazing
Benfica?
feeling, by the way. I was not expecting it one bit at all.
And what was that day like for you?
Oh, it was amazing. The facilities they had and everything at Benfica, it was amazing.
Because we got the plane, picked us all up at Glasgow Airport, took us out, and then we went straight to the training ground. And you had a session there. What was that like? Just to, you'd have been what, 11-year-old at the time?
Yeah, probably something like that.
11-year-old stuck in a intents and purpose, a private plane, taken straight to Benfica, world famous club, and there's the training ground, and you're going to get coached with Benfica's professional coaches. How did that feel as an 11-year-old?
As I said, amazing feeling, and I'll never forget it probably, because not many folk will ever get that experience ever.
And then, how did you enjoy that day? What did you take out of it?
I took a lot of things away, like just the experience as well. Like, you'd never think you'd be there.
No, it was good. And come back to you about your Sons of Struth time in a minute, but over to Cody. You missed that trip, but you had some experience with Sons of Struth. So you came to the club. How long did it take you to settle in? Tell us a bit about your time at Sons of Struth and some of the experiences and opportunities you got. What's that?
Well, my very first night, I can still remember, I was welcomed by everybody, so I was, and everybody just treated me as if I've been there for ages, so I was, so it was easy to connect to everybody. So
you came your first night, you were welcome, you felt comfortable, started playing some games. Tell us about your time and, you know, what you'd done at the club. And you do know you were lucky to get accepted into the club, don't you?
Yeah.
Because of Dex. Dex is your cousin, isn't he?
Yeah.
And Dex had coached at the club for a wee while, so he's no stranger to us, but we couldn't hold it against you when you came in. We seemed sort of how good a football player you are. So tell us about your time at Sons of Struth and the things you got up to.
Well, it was mostly just with the position changes. Well, that helped me a lot during my Sons of Struth time, because that made me a better player, and that's what obviously made me get all the opportunities and stuff that I got by trials with like all different type of people, like Rangers and stuff. And then, that's...
So let's talk about that. You came to the club as a centre midfielder, and from memory, we had maybe a couple of games in, and one of the centre backs moved, and we suggested putting you into change of position. How did you accept that?
I can still remember it. I didn't like it at first.
I kind of remember, Cody, funnily enough.
Well, I didn't like it at first, and I said to my mum to try and sort things out, and then I get told to just give it a couple games, see if I enjoy it, and then I realised that I started enjoying it, and then that I was a better player there, and that I get told obviously I'd get more opportunities and stuff there, and I did, and then
You didn't really want to do it, did you, if you're being honest?
No. But now I'm glad that I did.
To be fair, I use you as an example many times since that story, just the fact that you were a centre midfielder and you're a good centre midfielder. There's no doubt about it. You're a quality football player at that position. But football's a team game, and sometimes people at the sidelines can see things a bit different. And when we moved you back to centre back, for some reason it's an unfashionable position. But because it's an unfashionable position, no many people want to play it, no many people do play it, and you don't get many that are really, really good. You get far more good centre midfielders than you get good centre backs. So when you get somebody that can adapt to the position, opportunities are always going to be more for them if you think about it. Because if you're a scout and you're going out to look at centre midfielders in your age group, you can see 100 of them that are half decent. If you're looking for the same centre backs in the same age, you're going to be a shorter, right, a smaller window. And every team nowadays normally uses 2, some of them use 3. So there's plenty more opportunities. And I think when you came, it was funny watching you, because I was like, he's hating this, but, you know, to manage it. And you became a really, really good centre back, and things happened to you very, very quickly. And I think you might have got those opportunities playing at centre midfield, but it was easier for you to get them at centre back just because of what I've already explained. And how many games do you think you played at centre back before you became comfortable with it and thought, you know what, I'm going to give this a go?
Must have been about 5-6 games or something, so quite a couple. And then, but it was full games, so it made me get used to it more, and that's what made me realise how good and what I'm actually like at centre back.
Yeah, I remember one of the games, there was I can't remember if it was a regional trial or a Scotland thing. It was indoors at Tory Glen,
Yeah.
and I came along as a couple of your teammates in that as well. And you and the boy that was playing centre forward were probably the best two in the park, if you remember that night. And I was meant to watch about 10 minutes of the game and go and do something else. And I think I stayed for the full first half because it was just enthralling watching these two players. Two of you really pacey, two of you got good strength. We're just getting smashed into each other. And it was a great wee battle. Can you remember that much about that?
Yeah, I can remember that actually near enough most of the game. Because I can still remember this. It was a good player, so he was. So I knew that everything really I had to do. So I had to, like, because he was fast, so I'd give like a yard off and stuff. So stuff like that. And it was good going up against him because I knew that he would make me a better player as like playing centre back.
He was a good kid. And have you ever seen him since?
No, I've not saw him since. So
He's not ended up at pro youth yet.
no, I've not saw him. So
Okay. And so what experience did you have with Sons of Struth? What sort of opportunities did you get, and what sort of journeys did you go on with the club?
So I went to Benfica once with the full team, and then I went to Sweden as well, the tournament, and we done well in both of them. So we did, and then so it was good.
Yeah, you done a Benfica trip that the other two weren't on, and that was when we took out the 2008s for, was it 4 days?
Yeah,
3 nights, 4 days we went out there. And what did you learn in that trip?
discipline. Discipline was the best one.
Imagine mentioning that.
And leadership as well. That was a good one because I can still remember there was a wee bit of hassle, so I was, and then that's what made me realise that I need to be more disciplined and I need to show people that I can actually be the captain. And yeah.
Yeah, what we tried to achieve in that trip, we used kids at that age, because you would have been 14 at the time.
Yeah.
You weren't there with your parents, you were out there was 4 of us out there, plus all the Benfica staff. And we tried to build a trip based on what a professional under-18s team would do if they were going abroad, which again is something that they all get the opportunity from. So we had quite a schedule with, we do this at 9 o'clock, we do this at 9:10, this is what you have to wear at that, and it was quite organised. How did you find that?
It was good. I enjoyed it, but obviously it was hard, and that's what you want though, because you want it to be like professional because it's high standards, and that's what you want.
I remember the first morning at breakfast, and we were staying in it was a lovely resort, 4 or 5 star golf resort, wasn't it? So in a lovely golf course, and the people that were there were only shy of a bob or two, so it was quite a posh clientele. And I remember going down to breakfast the first morning. The first day when we arrived, if you remember, there was a half marathon on in the city, and it was a bit of a nightmare. We were shunted about. But the first morning, the hotel was the first day. Sorry, it was the next morning after we arrived. And I remember going into the restaurant, and the reaction for the people. You maybe never picked up on that. You're excited with the trip and stuff. Can you remember the reaction of the people that were in that restaurant?
They were kind of shocked with how much there was, of us there was, and yeah, that's all I can remember though.
Well, you were all immaculate. All our coaches were dressed the same, all our players were dressed the same. And I remember walking into the dining room, and it was a buffet style breakfast, and all these people were like looking like, who's this? And then when I was going up to get food, they were asking the boys and asking the club of yous, and we're like, we're a kids' football team from Glasgow. And they couldn't believe it. They thought we were some big, massive European professional club, and it was quite nice to see. And the surroundings were fantastic. And there was a wee issue in the trip. I think, you know, when you set these trips, you expect everything to be perfect, discipline, etc., and everything to go as planned, but it doesn't happen. And we had a wee incident in that trip, which we dealt with. And it was nobody was breaking any rules or no laws. They were just doing things that they shouldn't have been doing. And you seen the reaction that got. Did that help you?
It made me realise how much I need to step up and act my age really, and not do silly stuff. And so yeah, it helped me a lot by the full trip. So it was. So.
And what was the highlight of that trip?
Probably the game, either the game or the training was the best of the game. Probably the game, because it showed like how good we really are, and it's getting ourselves out there and stuff. because
So your highlight wasn't my volley in the indoor stadium, no?
that was half decent to be fair.
So it was some trip, and the team that we played, they seemed to have two teams, I think, from memory. We started well and looked as if we were going to win it, and then they made some subs, and we've seen some quality players, didn't we?
Yeah, they were unbelievable. So they were. Good.
And then we went to a game at the stadium, didn't we? We done a couple of sessions, a game, and this lovely hotel. I'm sure it was for 3 nights. So that was a good trip. Right, Seb, your story now. So you've arrived at Sons of Struth. Tell us a bit about your journey. And it wasn't a long journey, was it?
Not really, no.
You were quite successful quite quick. So tell us about your time at the club and the things that you got up to.
Yeah, it was a really good club, and I had a lot of opportunities. We went to Sweden, of course, and one day Benfica trip. It was really good, yeah.
So the Cody, you were also in Sweden. I'll come back to you in a minute about Sweden. So can you tell us a bit about the Sweden trip and what we got up to in that?
Well, the O10s didn't do that well, but the O8's done really well. But I mean, I had a really good time because I was scoring goals, so that was my job. And yeah, so it was good though. But I think there was a wee bit of carrying on with some folk and that, so I think that's how we didn't do as well.
Yeah, and the 08s had maybe a slightly stricter coach on that, so maybe that's why they didn't get up to so much carry on. But the trip, for a lot, was that your first time away with a football team abroad?
Yeah, with a football team though. Yeah.
And it was a competition. So you played a few games, and just for those that don't know about the trip, it was the Curva Cup we played in. So it was a mixture of Curva partner clubs from mostly Scandinavia and some regional type, national type squads. I think the Icelandic team were a national thing. So every player there was a Curva kid, basically, either through ourselves, we've been a partner club, or through Curva's own sessions. So what was it? What was it? The players like that you played against in that tournament?
Giants. That's what they were. Giants. Honestly, I came up against a 6-foot centre half, and I'm like, how am I gonna get a goal in this game? But somehow I managed to get a hat trick with a 6-foot goalkeeper as well. But honestly, they were giant.
And what about the technical ability that you were playing against?
A lot of them were really good. They moved the ball really quickly. Kept the ball so well.
The important thing about that trip, and one of the reasons behind that trip for your team was you were in probably arguably our strongest ever team, 2010 team. And with all due respect to a lot of the local opposition, you were struggling to get, a challenge. We were beating a lot of teams heavily, even some really, really good, well-renowned teams we were beating. Maybe not as comfortably, but we were getting positive results. So it gave an opportunity for you to go and play probably kids at a different level. And how did you find that?
Yeah, especially when we got all the way to the quarters of the Scottish, then that's when we found out, geez,
We're a good team.
Yeah.
Yeah, but on the trip, when you went to play these foreign kids, we were playing Scottish kids all that season, and 80% of the games were quite easy, and 15% were
a whole different level compared to Scotland.
How long did it take you in the tournament to realise you were up against some quality players here? I think it took me about 32 seconds.
Same.
Aye, it was good, wasn't it? And,
yeah.
Cody, you were on the same trip that we took out the two teams. How did you find that trip?
Loved it. I wish when I went back, I wanted to go back to Sweden again. Because we done so well in it as well. Obviously, we got to the final, get put out, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. Yeah,
I think from my own expectations of that, it was a great experience, and there was no really any big negatives. But I think before we went on the trip, we expected the 2010s to be our showcase team, and the 2008s, with all due respect, to be out there just for a nice experience, and it didn't turn out that way, did it? So what happened in the tournament? How did we go from the team that we didn't expect it much of to getting to the final?
I think it was either our first or second game that didn't go very well, and then we eventually realised that we need to do it. Like, we're good enough to do this, and then we played well, and then we got through to the final, get put out in the final, but we done well to get there, and it was fun.
The team we played were absolute quality, were they not? Remember the two centre midfield that we were playing, and we put Ollie onto mark them, if you remember.
They were all massive, even compared to us, so they were. So, but not only that, they were good footballers as well, so can't take it away from them.
So I remember it quite well. I was just wondering what your memories of. I remember coming back to the hotel at night, and we weren't quite sure where we were going to qualify for the next day, because you had to be in the top 4 to qualify for the proper tournament semis. And because of one sort of iffy result, we weren't really sure if we made it. So we'd returned back to the hotel, and then quite late at night, Curver came back to the hotel, and we found out we were in the top 4, and we had a chance to go and win the blooming thing. Can you remember what happened that night? Because I remember thinking, this hasn't happened for us, and you were all either across at the hot dog place buying rubbish at the garage. You remember the place selling the hot dogs? In the swimming pool, or just running about daft playing. Because I genuinely thought the tournament was over for us, and then we got the news probably quite late at night. Can you remember what happened?
All I can remember is getting told to get some rest, because I can remember, obviously, in case we did, but even though we thought that we weren't. And then that's all I can remember. I can't remember much.
Let me try and help remind you, right? I think it was probably about 9:30, 10 o'clock. And me and me, Craig, get the news, and I'm like, where are the kids? We knew we were in the hotel, right? It wasn't as if the furthest away was at the petrol station that was on the same footprint. You weren't out gallivanting around Helsingborg or anything, but we told them to relax, but we've cut them a bit of slack. If they're up late, they're daft crisps and all that nonsense, then fair enough. And then we found out about 9:30, 10 o'clock, these are in the semis, right?
I remember.
I remember we were shouting, go and get everybody together. I remember we got a conference room, and we got everybody in. Can you remember that now?
Yeah.
What happened?
We get told that we were in the top 4, and that's made us all buzzing and stuff, so we did. And then eventually spoke about everything, and when we had to get up, when we had to all get sorted and stuff. So we get told everything about that, and then we were all buzzing for it. And then we eventually went out, and then
there was a wee bit more to the story that you're forgetting. We got everybody together, as you're saying. We said, look, we're in the top 4 here. We've got a semi-final in the morning. And we said, look, we can do one of two things. We can change our preparation right now and take us serious, or we can carry on the new and go back playing snooker and table tennis and stay up to 1 o'clock in the morning if you want. So I'll let you decide. What do you want to do? We'll get a go. Will we get back to being like wee professionals again and get some proper preparation here, or will we just continue eating Mars bars and stuff? And then can you remember what happened next?
We all took it serious, so we did. We all went up, went to bed, got sorted.
You've missed out a bit in the middle.
Oh.
You came up and you said, Craig, can I speak as a captain? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
You walked to the front of the room, and you said, look, basically, I think we should just get this done, and you showed a good bit of leadership there. And I thought, this is a different kid that we had in Benfica, 6-9 months before it. And I thought, this boy's got a chance. So that to me was one of the highlights, because what you done, it was like a small adult, and you took it serious. You were the captain of the team, and when I asked the team to discuss it and tell us what do you want to do? Do we change what we're doing right now and get some better rest, get prepped to now, get our boots and everything ready to now, get up to our rooms, do this, get some fruit, do all the good things, and here's the schedule for tomorrow if you want to do that. And before the kids had a chance to discuss it, you just, can I talk? And it was we just looked at each other and thought, and you went up, and that was one of the things that I'll always remember for that. So well done for that. And then we got into the semis, won the semi. I can't remember, did it go to penalties?
Yeah, penalty.
But I can only remember because I was supposed to be hitting a penalty, and at the last one, and then I can remember that obviously we won it before I had got to hit a penalty, so thank God.
And then we went to the final, and I think we'd played the team the day before, and we knew this is going to be a tough kick. Right. But we gave it a go, and we didn't get smashed. I think we did finish. I think it was
3-1.
Aye, but it was tight right up to, I think you maybe got a late goal because we just went gung-ho. And how did you find playing against these kids? Different technical ability and a different game plan?
Loved it, because I knew that it would make me a better player, because the whole tournament made me a better player, because we were up against better players, and they were all just, they were good. So, and we changed tactics during the weekend as well, and I think it was a bit successful. We thought if we try and play a normal game here, play it out, we didn't just go long ball, but we changed the way we set up. We put some traps in place for coming out for the back, and we sort of baffled. You could see these kids didn't like what they're doing here, and
without, you know, going proper old school, we were probably more physical than some of them were used to. Realise that if we use our strengths, we maybe have a chance here. So we adapted well over the weekend and done all right. Just Seb, what was your highlights of that trip?
Well, I heard that I get top goal scorer for the club. Not for the tournament, no chance. But for the club, well, that was pretty good. But apart from that, because we didn't do that well in the tournament, I don't think we won a game.
No, it was. My expectations were better, but at the end of the day, you know, we didn't win it. I went out with the desires of winning it, but that was no waste of time. It was a great few days out there, and it was a great opportunity to see. And your team were just nuts. Remember coming home?
Yeah.
Sort of been away with the Sons of Struth Ultras, wasn't it? Or the carry on you were going on. And a lot of these, again, it was giving young kids an experience away from their parents and in a group environment that they probably didn't have much opportunities before. So what was your highlight with your time at Sons of Struth, Seb?
Probably my last season at Sons of Struth, where it was 11-a-sides. We done really well. The whole team, there was a whole togetherness about the group, and it's just amazing. We got all the way to the quarters in the Scottish, and then
you won the league unbeaten, didn't you?
Yeah, unbeaten.
That was the first division, so it was a tough league. He's done well when we got to League Cup final.
Yeah,
semi-final in the West region.
Semi-final.
It was we lost 3 games all season in cups, and you know it was sore at the time, but when you look back, it was a great achievement, and proven statistically, can you ever argue that with that set of results so far, it's the most successful Sons of Struth team ever. So, we're only 7 or 8 year old, but that's still a good achievement. We've had 5 teams progress from small-sided into 11-a-side to become our under-13s, and that is, we've won leagues before, we've won leagues unbeaten before, we won a league, we win in every game, 100% record. Another league win we won 23 and drew 1 out of 24. So we've had, but that was Division 1 and under 13, so that was a bit special. Our best Scottish Cup results up until then were last 16. So to get to the quarters was, you know, again, it's just progressing every year with the club. So we'll get a team that will win it soon. But I'm quite sure we keep progressing. So since you all came to Sons of Struth, and remarkably, you've all done really, really well, and it's quite a short space of time. Callum, you're probably the longest at the club, but when you take out the curva, COVID times lost it, you're probably about the same at the club, you know. So none of these were here forever, and have, you know, in a quite a short time had some amazing opportunities. I mean, when I was your age, I went to Grimsby for a weekend with my boys' club. You know, you've been to Benfica and Sweden, both, and you've had really some great experiences and some good opportunities, and relatively short space of time. And now you've all moved on and progressing. So could you now tell me a wee bit about what happened after you have left, where you have been, and what you are doing currently, and what you want to do going forward? So again, just to start it off, Callum.
After my second time at Benfica, that's when it started, with the pro youth starting to get interested on trials and stuff. And the first team that I went to on trial was Queen's Park. I went on trial there for 3 months or so, and by the end of it, they just decided that I wasn't quite the right person they were looking for. And then a couple of weeks later or so, it felt like I was in training with Kilmarnock at their goalkeeper sessions, and then that continued for 8 months. So I was in Kilmarnock a long time and never got actually signed, so I was on trial for quite a long time there. And then that was just really unfortunate at Kilmarnock, because they were expecting some goalkeepers to move up a level, and one of them, instead of moving up, he stayed at the same level, which meant nobody moved up. So that means there was no space for me to slot into. So that was quite unfortunate there. So, but now I'm looking at Dundee and Dundee United, looking at taking me on trial. So that's good there.
You're also, there was a weird thing happened where you helped St Johnstone out, a wee goalkeeping
Yeah.
bit of drama where they were
Yeah.
short a goalie in a competition coming up.
Yeah,
What happened there?
that was a couple of weeks ago. St Johnstone came looking because they needed a goalkeeper for a tournament up in Oban. They couldn't have picked a tournament closer, could they? So I was away up to Oban for the weekend. So I was playing with St Johnstone. I got a couple of training sessions with them so I could know the boys and stuff, and I wasn't going in totally blind, going defender one, you do that, not knowing their names, that sort of stuff. So that was good as well because that also got my name out there, and I think that's where the kind of Dundee stuffs came from with both of the Dundee clubs. So that's good.
And when you were up with St Johnstone and you put a few sessions in with them before and after the tournament, you ended up training with the first team, didn't you? And your mum had told me a story about quite a well-known centre forward and what happened when he hit a ball.
Yeah. So after one of the goalkeeper sessions, the under-18s weren't ready to start training yet. So me and the other under-18 goalie had to go in with the reserve and first team goalie, and they were training with the first team. And Stevie Mays threw on goal and I saved his shot. So certainly hurt my hand when I saved that, I tell you.
I was going to say that, being used to playing at under 16s and kids at 15 and 16 shooting at you. What was it like, Stevie May rifling one at you?
Oh, aye, that was some shot. He put some power behind it, I tell you that. I wasn't expecting it.
I think when you go and watch football at that level as a spectator and you're watching Real Madrid and Barcelona and all these teams on the TV, and you maybe see a St Johnstone or whatever playing, you maybe don't appreciate the level these guys are at because they're not Lionel Messi. But when you're in the middle of them, I bet it's a bit of a wake-up call and you realise these guys are serious.
Yeah, it's a massive wake-up call because you don't quite expect that. See, I don't think of the jump from under-18s upwards really, because obviously I haven't been any further upwards, so I don't understand it yet. But the strength and the power of the shots is certainly something different, I'll tell you that.
So, Cody, what have you been up to? You since you left Sons of Struth? Where's your career been, and where are you going?
Well, at Kilmarnock, it's been good, sort of. I've been enjoying it. And obviously, I think it was 4 games or something. They watched me, and then I eventually get signed. But ever since, it's been brilliant. I've been enjoying every session, every game.
Did you get an injury for a wee while?
Yeah, I done my ligament in my ankle, but I think I was out for like 1.5 months, and then I get back, and now that's me back to normal. So,
how did that feel? I mean, what sort of emotions did you go through when you're a young man wanting to be a football player, and you're in a good team, and you get injured and you can't train? I mean, what does that do to your head?
I hated it. It was one of the worst times of my life. Sounds a bit overreaction, but I hated it, so I did, because football, that's all I wanted to do, play football, and I couldn't do it then because obviously I was injured. So I was raging and I was obviously sad. But
and where are you playing?
Centre back.
All the time?
All the time. So it's good.
Did you play it right back for a game or half a game recently?
Well, I've been sometimes, but I'd play like right. So when we played, we used to play a 3-back, and then I used to play on the right hand side.
Yeah.
So, but now we don't do that. Now it's just we play 4, and I'm normally on the right hand centre back.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because I think when you were leaving and you came up to training one night with gifts, coaches and stuff, and I said to you, "What did you learn here?" And you said that if somebody sees something in a different position, just do it.
Aye.
Don't go in a strap for maybe 3 or 4 games. But and I think I said to you, well, if you go down to Kilmarnock and 2 years later they want to play you right back, what will you do? And you were like,
do it.
Just do it.
Easily.
And the old guys that are maybe can't run about the football park at the side sometimes can see things that you can't in the park. And one of the boys for Kilmarnock was on the phone, it may have been about Callum, a few weeks ago. They'd said that you were playing on the right hand side of the defence, and I thought he's going to end up right back, isn't he?
Well, it's now we've actually got a couple right backs now that the now so we do. So I don't think I'll be playing there anytime soon. But I mean, the centre back's fine with me. So
I will stick in there, but I think just as you go towards playing against adults, it's quite difficult for an 18-year-old kid to be playing against 32-year-old veterans at centre back, and they tend to move. Get them there in. Starts out wide. I mean, folk like Stephen Presley, who went on to be an international football player, I'm sure he came into Rangers team and didn't go into centre back.
Yeah.
And I think that with your pace and your attributes, it would probably be a comfortable move for you. So don't be too upset if they put you right back soon. Seb, your career since you're leaving, what's been going on there?
Yeah, it's really good. Enjoy it. The intensity in training as well is a lot different. And yeah, I've just been enjoying it so much. It's pretty good. Yeah, I like it.
I think from the sidelines, the most difficult thing I see is kids going that are half decent at grassroots at any club. When they go into the pro youth environment, it's not necessarily the games, because football's football. You know, there's 11 players and you go for it. But it's the training I see the biggest difference. And it's kids trying to adapt from a grassroots environment where it's 99.9% of the coaches and all others are all volunteers. So, you know, we're at a certain level. And you suddenly go in with professional coaches. Now, if they professional coaches aren't better than our coaches, the whole thing's run the wrong way. So it's fair to assume that you're going to be getting coached by better coaches, and you're probably going to be in an environment with a lot of better players, because at our club, if we've got 50% of a squad are good players, we're doing all right for grassroots. But you should now be in an environment where everybody's good. So the whole thing steps up, the pace, the intensity, the complexity of your drills and all the expectations, what the expectations are for your understanding of formations and tactics within those formations. It all steps up.
Yeah.
I find the biggest problem for young kids that go into pro youth is trying to get into the pace of the training, because you've all been in trials and your trial, the general rule of thumb is it's a 6-week trial. And in that 6 weeks, you'll do 2 or 3 sessions. For yours or 3 years. A general one is 6 weeks, 2 or 3 sessions a week. So you do 12 to 18 sessions in your trial period, and you might play some games. Even if they did a game every week and they played you every week, in 6 weeks you're only going to play 6 games. So the vast majority of your trial period is actually on the training field, and you're there for an hour and a half. Where very few at this age are playing football for an hour and a half. So the vast majority of your trial, and the eyes are on you at training, and I think that's where kids can sometimes struggle. So that's what we try and do is to try and, but we'll never have a pro youth system at Sons of Struth because we're a grassroots club. But to make that difference a bit easier, so the step isn't from here, you know, a normal grassroots club, but a one-team club, and it's 2 dad coaches and never, you know, they're not got the same level of backup that we've got, and they're going to coach their kids there. That's no saying anything bad about them, that's just factual. And then their kids for their club go into a pro youth environment, and it's no wonder they struggle. So that's what we try to sort of bridge this gap so that it's not as big a step up. Is that fair to say? Did you find that when you were
the first week I saw it right away, like the intensity, the difference between it. And I won't lie, I was blown the first session probably, yeah, because the intensity and all that, yeah. And
what about you two? Did you find similar?
Yeah, just exactly what he said. The intensity is different, and it's good. So
yourself, Callum?
Definitely.
See the things, the opportunities it gave you when you were at the club, the trips, going to Benfica, all these sort of stuff. The Curva partnership, which brings in professional coaches into our club and gives you guys a more professional coaching sessions. Just when the Curva sessions are there, you should be getting coached at a better, different level than when I'm taking the session or any of the other volunteer coaches, and that's just simply mathematics. If it wasn't, we wouldn't pay Curva to come in. So you get that step up with Curva, and hopefully our coaches are delivering better in normal grassroots sessions. Did that help you at all? Did you notice that? And did these things help you when you eventually went to that level, that you had been in different environments, you had experienced different things and hopefully coached at a higher level than your previous clubs? Did it have an impact on you?
I definitely think so, because I think Curva is it's a very good bridge between grassroots level to pro youth. Because see, I do the bi-monthly Curva program in Edinburgh, and it's the perfect step up between grassroots to pro youth, because they have that intensity, they have that level of player, because that's just filled with players that are either already in pro youth or are ready just to go in. So it's the perfect step up.
I've just realised something, I didn't think about this before. right there. You three have all went through Curva programmes out with the club. Obviously, helped get there with the club. You were in them before you came to the club.
Yeah.
Since you two came to the club, we put you into Curva programmes. And I'm sure we've got Tyler and Junior coming on next. They were at them as well, weren't they?
Yeah.
So that's bizarre that the 5 kids that have progressed well over the last 12 months have all came into the club, embraced the Curva culture and done things in their own time with the club with Curva. I don't think that's a mistake. Do you guys?
No, not at all.
No, because you were doing a lot of Curva before.
Yeah.
And so do you think Curva itself gives us an advantage as a club and provides a good thing for the kids and players?
100%, because it teaches you like new skill moves to go and beat a defender if you're not that confident. Just even the drills that they do to keep the ball, the possession, all of that, it helps a lot, I think.
Going by what you just said there and the fact that you're in quite a lot of photographs for Curva, are you the poster boy? Did they pay you?
I don't know.
And what about you two guys? What do you think of the Curva programme? Is it helped the fact that you were at a club that was a Curva partner club and then obviously when she came you went to these other Curva programmes? Is it something that's helped you get to where you are?
I think so. I think so definitely, because as I said, the Curva's just it's perfect bridge between grassroots to pro youth, and the level of players is just that correct spot that's just in between. It's just below pro youth, but it's just above grassroots. And it certainly helped moving on because it made you kind of ready for the level of player you could be coming up against.
And you're a goalkeeper, and Curva often gets accused. I've had it for our coaches in the past that not all of our coaches embraced Curva. It was quite a change of management change we had to go through to get to where we are now, where the majority of our coaches are comfortable with Curva. But when we introduced it at first, there was a lot of resistance because a lot of people think they know everything and they know best, and they don't like new ideas. So managing that change in the club was a wee bit difficult. And a lot of the people who didn't really buy into Curva say, "Oh, there's nothing for goalies, but you're a goalkeeper." How's that worked?
Well, see, that's where kind of older school style of play clashes with newer kind of playing, because goalkeepers have got to use their feet nowadays. You can't be a goalkeeper and just know how to punt the ball at the pitch nowadays, because that's not what clubs are looking for. So Curva certainly helped with in terms of my like ball control and passing and stuff, which you really need. And I don't think I would have got that if I was just at a grassroots club. I got that from Curva, being able to play out from the back. It also helped me being a right back before, but I certainly think that it definitely improved with Curva.
Yeah, I suppose you had that advantage that you played a lot of football outfield, so a lot of the goalies in the modern game are expected to become sweeper keepers almost. You know, that would have been a wee bit more natural to you. And Cody, do you think the Curva programmes through Sons of Struth and the ones that added on with Sons of Struth, did they benefit you?
Yeah, people say that also because I'm a centre back, I won't need it as much as other players. But see the players that you come up against in Curva and stuff, like for instance up in Edinburgh that we go to, like you're coming up against good players that know good skills and stuff, and so you can try and defend that because I'm a centre back. But it still helps a lot.
That's fantastic. I think we need to send a copy of this to Curva. Use it for our adverts. Right, so just, you've been good enough to give me a good bit of your time and come in and you've done well in interviews as well. It's been an unusual situation. We've done some things like this with you when you were doing your Benfica trips, but you've done well with this. So just to finish off, if you could think of one bit of advice, hopefully what happens with this video, we'll put it out and there'll be people who have been watching our podcasts will watch it, who maybe don't know much about Sons of Struth or youth football, and it'll give them an understanding. But my biggest hope for this is the kids at the club watch it and use it, highlight players for us just now that we can say, look what happens when you're at Sons of Struth. These are opportunities that they can your way. If you can say one bit of advice to these kids that are watching, that are at the club now and want to progress and want to become professional football players, what would it be?
Well, for me, it would be never let an opportunity pass by you. No matter what difficulties get in your way, never let it pass by you, because when I first got told about Dundee United, I was a bit sceptical about distance. But somebody said to me, never let that get in your way. If you can make it work, then make it work. Never let an opportunity pass by you and just watch it go away, because you could end up being 30 one day working in an office job and you could think back and think, what if?
Could have been.
What could have been? What could have been my life if I'd been able to get there?
I think it was certainly something that came up with the conversations around that opportunity. And I think the way you've got to look at these things is, would I regret not doing it?
Exactly.
If you use that when you're making any decision in life, try and put yourself forward. That was one of these. My background in sales, I went to a thing years ago, and it was one of these rah get you up, revved up guys from America. And the one thing I took out of that 2 hours with him, he said, paint a picture when you're making a decision. And the Americans use the picket fence and the rocking chair at the front, and you're 70. Your life's, you're not working anymore, and your life's almost complete. And you think back in your life and just say, see that thing there that I done? See would I regret no have done that? You know, looking back saying I had this opportunity. Will you sit in your rocking chair and think, I wish I'd done that? Well, see if the answer's yes, just go and do it. It doesn't matter how much hardship is going to, just get it done. If you've got an opportunity that you might regret not taking, and that's another thing with young football players, it's when you get an opportunity, it's not giving it your all. Because if you go into an opportunity at 13, 14, 15 and don't give it your all, you might not realise at the time, but I'll guarantee you through experience, see when you're older, you'll look back and say, I didn't give that enough. I didn't try hard enough. So if you use that going forward, when you're anything in life, whether it's football related or not, try and think when you're my age, looking back in your 15, 16-year-old self just now and think, would I regret not doing that? You just go and do it, right? And then you know what, see if you get it wrong, it doesn't matter. You've got a few more years than me ahead of you, that if you do make the odd decision and you get it wrong, there's no end. Another good thing I think is, I know you two have been in trials where you weren't successful. It doesn't matter. Don't give up, because you two wouldn't be where you are now if you took one bit of rejection and that was it. So Cody, what would your advice be to your younger players that want to emulate what you're doing?
It was just something that I get told, so I did, and it was, if you don't work hard, don't expect to get anywhere. So
Possible.
It's just something that, and it's true. So when I get told, and that's what I thought, it's true. So
Mikey Mills has said the exact same when he's been over visiting our kids. Doesn't matter what level you're at, quality, your attributes. See if you don't put the work in, you'll never get the best of them. And I would rather have a team full of 7 and 8 quality players with 8 and 9 work effort than a team full of 10 quality players with 2 work effort. The first lot will do better, so it's a similar thing. And Seb, what about yourself? What advice should you give to the
I'd say
younger kids?
never give up and never doubt yourself, because I get released by Kilmarnock when I was 9, and it's the worst feeling ever. And yeah, I never gave
I didn't
up.
know that.
Yeah, I did. While I was at BSA, I was in at Kilmarnock, and I got released.
And you're a 9-year-old, that's a tough thing. I mean,
Yeah,
you're still a young
really
boy,
tough.
they're a good couple of years older than you, and it'd be tough to take now. So how did you cope with that when you were 9? You were upset, I take it, for a while?
Yeah, really upset. It took me a while to get back to the form that I was in as well. It took me about 6 weeks probably to get back into the form that I was in. And then clubs were looking at me, but no offer though. So.
Aye, well, that's so between the three, it's just the same thing. Work hard, take your opportunities, and don't give up. Well, listen, thanks very much, guys. That was really, I enjoyed that. I hope you did as well. That was over an hour, which is fantastic. I didn't think we would get 2 seconds out of some of you. You know, I know you as characters for a while, and you know, sometimes it's like drawing teeth trying to talk to some of you. You're normally all right, but you just sometimes a bit more reserved. So, no, you've done well. I hope you've enjoyed it, and best of luck going forward with your future, boys.
Thanks.
All right,
Thanks.
Thank you.
take care.